Nigerian military has issued an urgent plea to residents of Sokoto State, asking them to return explosive materials that were taken from the site of a United States airstrike that occurred on Christmas Day. This situation has created serious concern among security officials because these materials pose significant danger to anyone who comes into contact with them. The airstrike, which took place in the Gidansama and Rumtua areas of Silame local government area in Sokoto State, was reportedly targeting terrorist positions, but the aftermath has left unexploded ordnance scattered across the region, and local residents, perhaps out of curiosity or not fully understanding the danger, have picked up some of these materials and taken them home. According to military sources, the unexploded ordnance includes items that could detonate at any moment, causing catastrophic injuries or death to those handling them or living nearby. The military has emphasized that these are not ordinary objects that can be safely kept or examined. They contain highly volatile compounds designed for warfare, and even the slightest mishandling could trigger an explosion. This is why the authorities are desperately urging anyone who took anything from the site to return it immediately to the nearest military or police station. No questions asked. The focus right now is purely on public safety rather than punishment or investigation into why people took these items in the first place. The Christmas Day airstrike itself has been a subject of intense discussion and controversy. Reports indicate that the operation was conducted by United States forces working in coordination with Nigerian military intelligence to target what they believed were terrorist hideouts in the area. Sokoto State, located in northwestern Nigeria, has been grappling with security challenges for years, including activities by various armed groups and bandits who have terrorized communities, kidnapped residents for ransom, and disrupted normal life. The airstrike was meant to neutralize some of these threats, but as often happens in conflict zones, the operation has raised questions about civilian safety and the protocols followed before launching such attacks. Eyewitness accounts from the affected communities describe scenes of confusion and fear on Christmas Day as aircraft flew overhead and explosions rocked the area. Some residents reported that they were not given any prior warning about the military operation, which made it difficult for them to take cover or evacuate. In the hours and days following the strike, people began emerging from their homes to assess the damage, and this is when many encountered the unexploded materials. Not everyone in these rural communities has had education about the dangers of military ordnance, and some may have thought these items were harmless debris or even valuable objects that could be sold or repurposed. The Nigerian military's appeal highlights a critical gap in public awareness about explosive hazards in conflict-affected regions. When airstrikes or other military operations occur, there is always a risk that not all munitions will explode on impact, leaving behind dangerous remnants. Professional bomb disposal teams are trained to locate and safely neutralize these items, but their work becomes much more complicated and dangerous when civilians unknowingly disturb the site or remove materials before experts can secure the area. If you're enjoying this discussion about what's really happening in Sokoto and want to stay updated on important news like this, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss out on stories that matter. The broader context of this incident points to the ongoing security crisis in northern Nigeria, where multiple armed groups operate with varying degrees of sophistication and territorial control. The Nigerian government has been working with international partners, including the United States, to strengthen its counter-terrorism capabilities and protect civilians from attacks. However, these partnerships and military operations sometimes create their own complications, particularly when it comes to civilian casualties, property damage, and the proper handling of aftermath situations like unexploded ordnance. The Christmas Day airstrike in Sokoto is just one example of how complex these security operations can become and how they affect ordinary people who are simply trying to live their lives in peace. Now let's talk about what this means for the residents of these communities and for Nigeria's security strategy going forward. First, there needs to be much better communication between military forces and local populations before, during, and after operations like this. People deserve to know when their area might become a conflict zone so they can protect themselves and their families. Second, there must be immediate and comprehensive efforts to educate communities about the dangers of unexploded ordnance whenever military operations occur. This could save lives and prevent tragic accidents. Third, the government needs to provide support and resources to communities affected by these strikes, including medical care for any injuries, compensation for property damage, and assistance with safely clearing and securing the area. The military's appeal for residents to return the explosive materials is not just about recovering dangerous items, it's about preventing a potential disaster. Imagine if one of these devices were to detonate in someone's home or in a crowded market. The casualties could be devastating, and the trauma would affect the entire community for years to come. This is why security officials are treating this situation with such urgency and why they are promising not to prosecute anyone who comes forward with these materials. The priority is getting them back under proper control where they can be safely disposed of by trained experts. For those of you watching who might know someone in Sokoto or in similar situations elsewhere, please share this information. Let people know that these materials are extremely dangerous and that returning them is the right thing to do for everyone's safety. The military has set up collection points and hotlines where people can report the location of unexploded ordnance or return items they may have taken. This is a community effort, and everyone has a role to play in keeping each other safe. If you found this breakdown helpful and want to see more in-depth coverage of Nigerian news and current events, don't forget to like this video and share it with friends and family who need to stay informed about what's really happening in our country.